Hello dear friends, here we are with the chapter coming from chemistry. The name is Chemical Reaction and Equations. So in this session, we will be discussing this topic using the questions that we have brought for you. Now we have already discussed the PYQs for this topic and you can also watch that video and you will get an idea of how many questions and how many marks this chapter can give you in your actual examination. So friends, let's start dealing with the types of questions that can come from this chapter in your exams. Here is the first question that we are having. The question is a MCQ, that means multiple choice question. Here is the question and these are the options that are provided to you. Let us have a look on the question. It says, quicklime reacts vigorously with water to produce slaked lime. Now friends, whenever you are dealing with this chapter, that is chemical reactions and equations, one thing of utmost importance is that you know what is this quicklime, what is this slaked lime. If I say what is baking soda, what is washing soda, you should be able to relate these words with the chemical formula and chemical names, because without that chemical name, you cannot undergo or you cannot write that reaction. Okay. Now, if you don't even know what is quicklime and what is slaked lime, then how are you supposed to know what kind of reaction is going on in there, right? So, basically, pick up this chapter and first of all, just know what are these terms and what is the chemical symbol, chemical formula for these words, okay? So, here this quicklime is nothing but calcium oxide, okay, CaO, and this slaked lime is calcium hydroxide. Okay. Now that I know these are the chemical names of this compounds, then I can at least understand what is going on, right? Say for example, here it is written that quicklime is reacting with water. That means calcium oxide is reacting with water, okay? And it is forming this slaked lime. So, I have just formed the chemical equation for a reaction that was given to me, which also signifies the name of the chapter, right? So, it is of very much importance that you know the chemical symbols and chemical formula, right? Let us proceed with our question. It says, quicklime reacts vigorously with water to produce slaked lime. This reaction can be classified as dash. So, you have options. First one is combination reaction, exothermic reaction, endothermic reaction and oxidation reaction. Now, in this chapter, when you start, first of all, you get the chemical reactions. Then you have balancing a chemical equation. And then you have different types of chemical equations and chemical reactions, in which there is combination reaction, displacement reaction, double displacement reaction. We also have decomposition reaction and endothermic reactions, exothermic reactions. You also have redox reactions, in which oxidation and reduction takes place simultaneously. So basically, this chapter is all about types of reactions per se. Okay. And here you are being given different names and you need to identify this chemical reaction is which of these type. Okay. Now friends, just forget everything and look at this reaction. Over here you can see two reactants are combining to form one product, right? Calcium oxide and water are being combined to form this product, that is calcium hydroxide. So we can say that there is a combination happening. So, it might be a combination reaction, okay. Now, let's see in which option A is given. Over here it is given, over here it is given and over here it is given. Now, we can eliminate this B option because it doesn't have our A, right, which is right as per our discussion. So, we have eliminated option B because it doesn't have A. Now, this reaction actually generates a lot of heat. A lot of amount of heat is released, indicating that it is an exothermic reaction. Heat is given out. If the heat was absorbed, then we would have said that it is an endothermic reaction. Okay. But over here, the heat is given out. So friends, we have came to the conclusion that it is a combination reaction and it is a exothermic reaction. A and B is given in option D only. There is no combination which has A and B together. So there is no need to check other options now because our correct answer we already have reached. Okay. Let us have the solution part over here. So it says that Option D, A and B is correct as we have just discussed. Here, quicklime reacts with water vigorously to produce slaked lime and a large amount of heat is produced, indicating that it is exothermic. Okay. Here, let us have the balanced chemical equation. It says CaO, which is in solid form, reacts with water, which is in liquid form, to form calcium hydroxide, which is nothing but the slaked lime. This is the quicklime. Okay. And there is a heat generation seen. So, these two has combined, hence this is a combination reaction. We will just state these things in our answer now. Okay. So, the reaction is both a combination and an exothermic reaction. Combination reaction is a reaction where two or more elements or compounds combine to form a single compound. Simply, if you see many reactants and one product, it is a combination reaction. Most probably. Okay. Going ahead, calcium oxide combines with water to form calcium hydroxide, hence it is a combination reaction. Then further, it is exothermic reaction because it has a lot of heat liberation, okay, and also there is a hissing sound during the reaction, okay. So here we have justified why we have chosen the option D, which says that this reaction is combination as well as exothermic. So friends, this question came from combination reaction types. You might as well have a question in your exam which is coming from displacement or from double displacement reaction type or from decomposition. So obviously, reading and understanding the types of reactions is of very much importance with the perspective of your examination. The question here is, what is a balanced chemical equation, or name and state the law that is kept in mind when we balance a chemical reaction. Here the marks is 1. That means you are given an option either to attempt this or that. But here we will be dealing with both because we never know which will be coming in your exams and you should have understanding of everything. So what is a balanced chemical equation? Basically, in simple words, I can say that in balanced chemical equation, the entities on the reactant side and the entities on the product side are equal. That's it. Okay. That means all the elements, atoms which are present on reactant should be equal to the product side as well. Okay. So let us see over here. We have a balanced chemical equation is an equation where the number of atoms of each type in the reaction is the same on both reactant and the product's side. Okay. So, just we have said the reactant and the product should have the same number of atoms of each type. Okay. It should not happen that if there are 3x present on the reactant side and there are 4x present on the product side, that is not a balanced chemical equation. We need to equate them. Okay. That means a balanced chemical equation. Next question is, name and state the law that is kept in mind when we balance a chemical equation. So, basically, when we are saying that the number of atoms of each type should be equal, that means we are saying that the mass of the reactant and the product should match. That leads us to the answer of the second question, which is, while balancing a chemical reaction, we follow the law of conservation of mass. Okay, very important. Law of conservation of mass is being followed when we balance a chemical equation. And what is the statement for this law? Okay. It states that matter can neither be created nor be destroyed in a chemical reaction. So, if I have x plus y, which is giving me xy, so simply this is a combination reaction because two reactants are combined to form one product. That is not the concern over here, but what we are trying to say is the mass of this reactant things should be equal to the mass of the product. Okay. That is the law of conservation of mass. Why are we saying it like this? There should be no creation or destruction of mass when a chemical reaction occurs. Because there is a law which states that mass can neither be created nor be destroyed. It can only be transformed from one form to another form. So the mass in the form of x and y separately is now being transformed to x and y combined. Okay. Hence, we follow law of conservation of mass while balancing a chemical equation. So, this question is directly coming from your balancing the chemical equation topic from this chapter. The question here is an image-based question. Okay, so this is the image where you can see there is lead nitrate in this tube. Okay, and what we are doing, we are actually burning this test tube which has lead nitrate. Okay, and then we have brown fumes which are coming. The question says, write a chemical reaction for a process described in the given picture. Now here friends, just apply some logic. What are we doing? We have taken a chemical compound and we are providing heat to it. So obviously there will be decomposition. If I take your hand and I'll keep a burner beneath it, what will happen? Yes, there will be destruction going on, you will be harmed. So this compound will also be decomposed. Hence, this reaction becomes decomposition. Also, since you are using heat, then we will say that this reaction is of thermal decomposition type of chemical reaction. Okay. So, you might have understood from which topic in this chapter this question is coming. Okay. So, over here we have burner, lead nitrate is being burnt and then brown fumes are produced. We need to write a chemical reaction for this process. Let us see. Let us begin. Here we have lead nitrate. Its formula is PbNO3 and this will be in twice. Okay, so this is lead nitrate. What are the products that you should know? And then you should also balance this equation to get this 1 mark. Okay, so lots of things to do just for 1 mark, but it's worth, right? So over here we have lead nitrate. Okay, it is being heated, so we have given a sign of heat, that is a triangle. Then lead oxide is being produced and nitrogen dioxide is produced. Also we have oxygen gas liberation. Okay, this nitrogen dioxide is the fumes that we are seeing in this image. Hence, we should write that this nitrogen oxide is the brown fumes. And also to note over here, this lead nitrate is actually whitish in color. Okay, and this lead oxide is yellow in color. We will write it over here. This is the yellow residue, this is the brown fumes, and this is the oxygen gas that is being liberated. Also, notice here friends that one reactant, lead nitrate, is giving you 3 products. So obviously your reactant has been decomposed. Hence this is an example of decomposition reaction. And as we just talked, heat is given, so thermal decomposition. Please remember the chemical formula for lead nitrate, and this brown fume is of NO2, that is nitrogen dioxide. Okay. The question here is, we are provided with the reaction. Okay. And here we are supposed to balance the above chemical equation and find out the values of X, Y and Z. So different values, different combinations is given to you in options. Hence this question is multiple choice question. So here friends, the chemical reaction undergone is manganese oxide is being reacted with hydrochloric acid and hence you are forming manganese chloride along with water along with chlorine gas. Okay, now here we need to balance this chemical equation, which means the number of atoms in the product side should be equal to the number of atoms in the reactant side. Okay. Now while balancing this chemical equation, let us consider this MnO2. Mn is in one quantity over here also we have 1. But over here 2 oxygen is present and over here only 1 oxygen is present. So we might write 2 over here. Okay. Now this equation is balanced in terms of oxygen. But what about hydrogen? Here we have 4 hydrogen and over here we have only 1 hydrogen. So we might add 4 over here. Okay. So now Mn is balanced, O2 is balanced and hydrogen is balanced. Okay. Now we are left with Cl atom balancing. Over here we have 4 Cl, right? Over here we have 2 and over here we have 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. So I guess our equation is balanced. Let us see over here. The balanced chemical equation is MnO2, like we have just kept it like that. Then we have 4HCl plus 4HCl, MnCl2 is as it is, and then we have 2H2O, okay, and Cl2 is 1. If we are not writing anything, that means it is 1. So what are the values of X, Y and Z that we are finding? It is 4, 2 and 1. 4, 2, 1 is given in option C, hence option C is the correct answer for our question here, okay. So the correct answer is 4 to 1. Here friends, we have learned how to balance a chemical equation. You need to start with picking up one atom. You need to check if it is balanced on both the sides, and then you will move on and do this for each and every atom that are present in your chemical equation. This is the way of balancing a chemical equation. The question here is 2 grams of ferrous sulfate crystals are heated in a china dish. Again, we are taking some compound and we are providing heat to it. So you might get an idea that decomposition might be happening in this reaction as well. Okay, let us continue and read the question. Name the type of chemical reaction that takes place. Okay, first and foremost is the question to name the chemical reaction itself. Next is write the chemical equation for the reaction. Right? So you are given with the sentence form of the reaction. You need to find out what is the name of the reaction. Then eventually you need to find out what will be the reactant and what will be the products. Okay? And obviously you should have a balanced chemical equation, that is understood. So friends, this reaction's name is decomposition reaction because we have just said that it is heated, and from heat we can relate it with decomposition, right? So the reaction type is decomposition reaction. Now we have taken ferrous sulfate crystals. Ferrous sulfate, iron is there and sulfate group is there. Sulfate group is SO4. Iron's chemical symbol is Fe. Okay, so we are having FeSO4. This is green in color. Heat is provided, hence an arrow, and on that you need to have this triangle sign. This represents heat. You might be knowing that already. Then you have Fe2O3. So basically iron oxide is being produced and its chemical formula is Fe2O3. That makes 2 Fe over here and 1 Fe over here. Hence we have added this 2. Understood? So this 2 is added for balancing the chemical equation. Then SO2 gas is also released along with SO3. Okay. So these are the products, and now if you will see, each and every atom in this chemical equation is balanced, and hence we are saying that this chemical equation will give you 1 mark for sure. 1 mark for this and 1 mark for this. Alright. So friends, in the questions coming from this chapter, you might be regularly asked about to balance the chemical equation. That is of key skill that you should have when you are attempting the question paper. Alright. For that you need some practicing and you need some revision. Right. So here is the question. It states, identify the type of reactions taking place in each of the following cases and write the balanced chemical equation for the reaction. Part A says, sodium carbonate reacts with hydrochloric acid to produce sodium chloride, carbon dioxide and water. We need to find out the reaction type and then write the equation for this chemical reaction. Then we have potassium iodide reacts with lead nitrate to produce potassium nitrate and lead iodide. Okay. So for both of these things we need to do the same thing. Let us go for the part A. Here we have sodium carbonate, which is a base, right? It is reacting with acid. So it gives you an idea that it might be neutralization reaction, right? So let us have the equation. Na2CO3 is the sodium carbonate. It is reacting with acid, that is HCl, and it will form NaCl plus CO2 plus H2O. While balancing, we need to have 2 Na over here because of this Na2, and then this CO2 is being produced, 1 O is left, which is formed as H2O. In neutralization reaction, water and salt are produced, hence we have written it, and the leftover thing is of carbon dioxide. Alright, this is the neutralization reaction, and also there is double displacement occurring because Na is being combined with Cl. Cl is basically displacing carbonate ion, okay, and then we have CO2 and H2O formation, okay. H2O is again showing us displacement. So this is an example of neutralization as well as double displacement reaction. Going ahead, we have potassium iodide reacting with lead nitrate. Lead nitrate is PbNO3 twice, right? It is reacting with Ki. What will happen? This I will be coming and attaching towards Pb, displacing nitrate ion, okay? And that will be happening as PbI2. Hence, we have written 2 over here to balance the iodine atoms. Then this K will be combining with nitrate ion and hence we have the formation of KNO3. So this is again over here we have displacement happening and for K as well the displacement has occurred. So again this is a type of double displacement reaction. Now over here there is a precipitate formation, hence the reaction is of the type of precipitation reaction as well. The question over here is, which of the following statements about the reaction given below are correct? Okay, so this is the reaction given to us in which we are provided with CuO which is being reacted with H2 and then heat is provided and hence you are forming copper, metal and water. Okay, Cu plus H2O. The options are H2 is oxidized to H2O. Alright, CuO is reduced to Cu. CuO acts as an oxidizing agent and H2 acts as an oxidizing agent. Basically, we need to find out the correct combination and then spot them in this option that is provided to us. Now, first of all, starting with this type of question, you just need to remember what is reduction and what is oxidation. Whenever we are saying that oxidation is happening, that means oxygen is being added or hydrogen is being eliminated. Okay. Just opposite is reduction. So, in reduction, we will say that hydrogen is added or oxygen has been eliminated. Alright. So, these two conditions are for oxidation and reduction respectively. Then, what is an oxidizing agent? An oxidizing agent is one which causes oxidation of another thing but itself is reduced. Okay. And vice versa for reducing agent. Reducing agent is one which causes reduction but itself undergoes oxidation. Alright. Now over here if you will see this Cu copper oxide is there but in the product side it is losing the oxygen. Okay. So it has lost the oxygen, that means it is reduced. So CuO is reduced to Cu. This is the correct statement. Right. Then we have H2 is oxidized. Let us see for H2 now. This H2 is without oxygen in the reactant part but it gains the oxygen in the product part. That means there is addition of oxygen. Addition of oxygen means it is oxidized. Okay. So H2 is oxidized, yes, because it has become H2O and CuO is reduced because it has become Cu. Understood? So these two statements are correct. 1 and 2 are correct and both should be in our option. So you still need to go for third one because in options we have 1, 2 at one place and 1, 2, 3 at another place. Right. Now let us go for this third. CuO acts as an oxidizing agent. That means it should promote oxidation of another substance and it itself should undergo reduction. CuO is causing the oxidation of H2 because H2 has become H2O. Right. That means CuO is the oxidizing agent. Okay, that means this statement also becomes correct. Coming for H2 acts as an oxidizing agent. This H2 is itself oxidized. Okay, and it is causing the reduction of CuO. So this is not an oxidizing agent, but it is a reducing agent. Okay. If it would have been reducing agent, then we would have chosen this statement as well for our correct answer. But now, only 1, 2 and 3 are correct, hence option B is the correct answer for this question. Now, all these things are given to you in the solution part, in which it says that B option is correct. If a substance gains oxygen or loses hydrogen during a reaction, it is oxidized. Vice versa will be the case for reduction. If a substance loses oxygen or gains hydrogen during a reaction, it is reduced. Then, the oxidizing agent is a substance that causes oxidation by accepting electrons and itself it should undergo reduction. And while we are at it, let us learn about reducing agent as well. It is a substance that causes reduction by losing electrons and itself undergoes oxidation. So, using all these terms, we have just answered the question and we have came to the conclusion for the right answer. The question here is, a metal A is found in the form of a ribbon and it burns in the presence of oxygen with bright light to form a white solid B. Okay. We need to identify what is A and what is B. Then we need to write a balanced chemical equation for the reaction And finally, we need to name the type of reaction. These are the to-do list for you to gain these 3 marks. So first of all, just tell me, does a ribbon recollects you to some concepts that you have undergone in your experiments or in your curriculum? Yes, you might have heard about magnesium ribbon. It is a very simple experiment that you guys do in your school level, right? You just go, your teacher will give you a magnesium ribbon. You will hold it with a pair of tongs and then we need to burn it, okay? That burning of magnesium ribbon will create residue and there will be a bright light, okay, emission. So that is what it is asked over here. What is A and B you need to answer? Obviously the ribbon is of magnesium. And what is B? It is magnesium oxide, right? Let us write over here. So A is magnesium and B is magnesium oxide. That is the reaction that is going on. Mg is reacting with oxygen and it is forming magnesium oxide, that is MgO. Okay, so write a balanced chemical equation. Next thing we have already answered. Let us write over here. So 2Mg plus O2 in the presence of heat will give you 2MgO. Now why we have added this 2? To balance the oxygen atoms, because oxygen in the air is in the molecular form. So O2 will be coming over here, hence we have added 2 for Mg. Okay, so this is the balanced chemical reaction. Now we need to write a type of the reaction. Obviously 2 things are combining, so it should be a combination reaction. I hope you understand from where this topic is coming. In your textbooks, many activities are given, okay, to make you understand. From those activities as well, you can expect questions. Hence, you need not omit all the activities, okay. At least you should revise those things when you are revising the chapter for your goodwill, okay. So, here this question was coming from combination reaction types. The question here is, why do copper particles generally get coated with a green layer when kept in the open for a few days? Next is, name the phenomenon involved. So basically friends, we have copper utensils or copper stuffs in our home, and if you keep it open for a long period of time, there will be a greenish layer which is developed on that utensils. Why is this happening? This is the first question, and then you need to name the phenomenon. Obviously, you can answer both of these questions from one concept only, that is corrosion. You might be familiar, very much more familiar with iron corrosion. That is the nails or the iron things that we have in our surrounding. When they are exposed to air, moisture, they also corrode. They develop a reddish brown layer they develop. So that is the corrosion of iron. Here we are talking about the corrosion of copper. Okay. So copper corrosion will lead to the generation of a green layer. Copper reacts with atmospheric gases and forms a green substance which is basic copper carbonate. Okay, its nature is also given to you, that it is basic in nature. Alright. Hence, copper particles are coated with a green layer when kept in open for a few days as a result of corrosion. So, the phenomenon also becomes of corrosion itself, right? That is the answer for your next part. The process is called as corrosion. So friends, these are some daily day-to-day activities or stuffs that you might have already seen. You just have to relate it with the concepts and write down your answer. Alright, this should not be a very big deal. Corrosion is very easy. Similarly, rancidity is very easy. The question here is, why is respiration considered an exothermic reaction? We just have discussed about exothermic reaction, right friends? That was in context with the quicklime reaction with water to produce slaked lime. At that time we said that very much high amount of heat is released, so it is an exothermic reaction. Now it is saying that respiration is also an exothermic reaction, and we need to give reason why. So basically respiration is deriving energy from the food material that we eat. So we can say that oxygen is being used to derive energy from the glucose molecules that we are eating. And this respiration is obviously undergoing in living organisms. Okay. Now we need to give reason. Basically friends, energy is released in this respiration process. Okay. Let us see over here. In respiration, oxidation of glucose takes place, which produces a large amount of heat energy. Okay. So heat energy is produced, although in our body we will convert it into ATPs. But there is energy liberation, and if we say that heat is released, then it becomes an exothermic reaction. Due to the formation of heat energy, the process is considered as exothermic reaction. Okay. Let us see the chemical equation. Here we have the glucose molecule. Remember, glucose molecule's chemical formula, it is C6H12O6. Basically, C and O is in 6 number and double it for hydrogen's atom number. Okay. So, glucose is being reacted with oxygen, and then we have carbon dioxide formation, water formation and energy formation. Over here, only energy is written because in our body, the release of that amount of heat energy will lead to destruction of the tissues and the cells and our body indeed. That's why in our body, we will not have this heat energy. We will be quickly storing that form of energy in the form of ATPs. Okay. So, over here, for the concept of this question, energy is being released and hence it is an exothermic reaction. Alright. Also, let us name the reactant and products. This is glucose, this is oxygen, this is carbon dioxide and this is water. The equation is balanced. You can check it. You can practice balancing the equations using the equations that we are giving you in this session as well. The question here is, why does the color of copper sulfate solution change when an iron nail is dipped in it? So, basically, just consider you are having a flask or a small beaker in which copper sulfate solution is given. Copper sulfate solution is bluish in color, okay? And then you will place this iron nail inside that beaker full of the solution of copper sulfate. Now, you will see that the bluish color that was with the solution is now changing to some other color, okay? We are being asked, why is the color of this solution actually changing? Okay, let us see. Over here, what will happen is, when we are dipping the iron nail in the copper sulfate solution, then there is a displacement reaction happening. We have the CuSO4 which is having the blue color, right? Now what will happen? This iron will displace the copper. Okay? Hence you are having the formation of FeSO4. Now CuSO4 is not there to give you the blue color. Hence the color is now not there. Okay? As simple as that. So, we have CuSO4 in aqueous condition reacting with iron in solid form because iron nail is solid, right? Now, we have the production of FeSO4 and along with we have the CuS, that is copper produced, right? So, this is an example of displacement reaction. Hence, we are saying you to always study all the types of reactions that are given to you and that too along with the examples, alright? The question here is, which of the following gases can be used for storage of fried chips in packets for a long time? Okay. And then you are given with options oxygen, nitrogen, chlorine, air. Now here friends, this is again an MCQ question, multiple choice question. First of all, I need you to relate this with a common example that whenever you will buy the packet of chips or wafers, then you will see that a significant proportion is occupied by air, right? Is it air or is it some kind of gas that is being asked over here? It is oxygen or it is nitrogen, chlorine, air. What is present in that thing? Now, this here covers the concept of rancidity that you have learned in this chapter. Rancidity is basically the decomposition process of the oily foods that is present in the bag of chips. Okay. Basically, the food is being degraded if there is a considerable amount of time for which it is not being used. So, to avoid that, we need to add some kind of gas which will not let the reaction happen or at least which will slow down the reaction which is happening. So, out of these options, now we got a hint that we need to find out the gas which is mostly inert. Now, if you will see, there is no inert gas present in here from the periodic table, that is neon, helium, argon, krypton, those things are not being present. But there is a gas which is nearly inert and that is nitrogen. Why are we saying that nitrogen is inert is because nitrogen gas has triple bonds present, right? In between N2 molecule, 2 N atoms are joined by 3 bonds, which makes it pretty difficult to break down and hence for commercial purposes, for reactants, as an inert gas option, nitrogen is used. Let us see over here. It says that nitrogen is the correct answer, right? And then when fats and oils are oxidized, they become rancid. These oils and fats are present in chips because they are oil fried, okay? And then their smell and taste changes. And appetite is the main concern of all those things. If their taste changes, why will the buyer buy them? Okay. Hence, to avoid these things, the substances that prevent oxidation, antioxidants, are added to foods containing fats and oils. In chips packets, usually nitrogen gas is filled to prevent the chips from getting oxidized, as we just discussed. The question here is, identify the reducing agent in the following reactions. Remember, we need to identify the reducing agent which will cause reduction but itself undergo oxidation. Okay. These are the reactions that are provided to us, and then in B part, we need to define a redox reaction in terms of gain or loss of oxygen. Alright. So over here in this reaction, we have ammonia which is reacting with oxygen, and then NO and H2O are formed. So we need to find out the compound which is causing reduction and itself undergoing oxidation. NH3 does not have oxygen, but now over here N is having the oxygen. So it is oxidized, okay. And it is causing the reduction because O2 is not having hydrogen, but on the product side it has H2O now, right? That means hydrogen is being added. So over here NH3 is acting as a reducing agent, alright. So similarly, we need to identify which is the reducing agent in the next chemical reactions as well. So over here for ammonia, as we have just saw, NH3 as it reduces H2 to H2O. Reducing agents are those that will add hydrogen or remove oxygen from other substances and then oxidize themselves. Next part is of water. Here water is the reducing agent because it is reducing F2 to HF. Okay, F2 is not having hydrogen, but now it is having hydrogen as it is forming HF. So the reducing agent is water. Third one, carbon monoxide, CO, as it reduces Fe2O3 to Fe. So Fe2O3 is now reduced to Fe. Hence carbon monoxide is the reducing agent. Next one is the hydrogen gas as the reducing agent because it is reducing O2 to H2O. Alright. Hydrogen was not there, now it is there. Over here, how come it is reduction? Because there was oxygen and now it is no oxygen. So, loss of oxygen is also reduction. Alright. So, these are the reducing agents that we were supposed to find out. Next coming up is the meaning of redox reaction. If a substance gains oxygen or loses hydrogen during a reaction, it is oxidized. If a substance loses oxygen or gains hydrogen during a reaction, it is reduced. Okay, that we have already understood at the beginning of our session. In a reaction, the simultaneous gaining and losing of this oxygen is called a redox reaction. As simple as that. Okay, simultaneous oxidation and reduction, and then just explain what is oxidation and what is reduction. You will be good to go for acquiring these marks. Here is the question. The question says, if we take some zinc granules in a test tube and add dilute HCl, then a colorless, odorless gas coming from the test tube is what? This is an MCQ question. You are provided with the options. Is it hydrogen? Is it nitrogen dioxide? Is it oxygen? Or is it carbon dioxide? Now friends, please emphasize over here that zinc granules. Zinc is a metal, right? It is reacting with the acid. So, whenever a metal is reacting with acid, you will have the liberation of hydrogen gas. This is understood when you are reading the chapter. Okay. So, we should be choosing this hydrogen option. Let us see the solution part first. So, here we have Zn which is reacting with HCl. So, Zn plus HCl give us zinc chloride. Alright. Chloride is being produced and hydrogen gas is being released. Also, we need to balance the chemical equation as we have already talked. Okay. So, the correct answer is hydrogen gas. Here is the next question. The question says, silver chloride turns grey on exposure to sunlight for a long duration due to what? Again, an MCQ question. It says, first option is the formation of silver by decomposition of silver chloride. And then we have the sublimation of silver chloride, formation of chlorine gas from silver chloride, or oxidation of silver chloride. Now over here you may pause the video and think upon the answer. I will proceed with the answer of this question. Silver chloride is turning grey, okay, on exposure. Gray is the color for silver. That means silver chloride is being converted into silver, right? So, the formation of silver by decomposition of silver chloride seems to be about the right answer logic-wise. Let us see over here. Yes, it is the correct answer. We should go with option A. We are already provided with the chemical reaction. Let us have the chemical equation. It says that AgCl when in presence of sunlight gives us Ag and Cl2. That is, silver is produced and chlorine gas is also liberated. That means this is a decomposition type of reaction. Here is the next question. The question says when Na2SO4, that means sodium sulfate, solution is added to a solution of BaCl2, that is barium chloride, in a test tube, a precipitate is formed. So we can take a point from here that this is a precipitation reaction, right? But let us come back to the question. It says us what is the color of this precipitate? Write the balanced chemical equation and mention the type of reaction. These are the stuffs that we need to answer to gain 3 marks from this question. So first of all, we are adding Na2SO4 to the solution of BaCl2. Let us write over here. So a white color precipitate should be formed and that should be of BaSO4. Now just have a look over here. This Ba part is combining with this SO4 part. Hence we are forming BaSO4. So this is again a displacement reaction as well. Okay. Going ahead. Here is the balanced chemical equation. We have Na2SO4 along with it is reacting BaCl2. From that we have produced the BaSO4 like we just talked, and obviously this Na and this Cl will combine to form NaCl. Also we have balanced it because here we have 2, right? Na2SO4 is the chemical formula itself. So to balance that we have added this 2 for before the NaCl, right? And just by doing that we will be having the balanced chemical equation. Next is mention the type of reaction that we are talking about a lot. So this is double displacement and precipitation reaction. With respect to this BaSO4, we said that it is displacement reaction. But this displacement is also happening for Na and Cl. That means displacement has occurred twice. Hence we are saying that it is a double displacement reaction, and since BaSO4 precipitate is formed, it is a precipitation reaction as well. So friends, as we just talked in the beginning of the session for this chapter, you need to know the types of reactions and the examples which are undergoing those types of reaction. Alright, the next most important thing is to balance the chemical equation. And last but not the least, knowing the chemical formula for different chemical compounds is the fundamental thing for you to attempt questions coming from these chapter in your examination. I hope this discussion will be helpful for you in your upcoming examination. Thank you for your attention.